A quick backstory. I made good money doing trees that no one else would touch. These were the high risk trees where people were worried about property damage. One particular tree that no one would touch, and I was contacted, was a massive Siberian elm, if I recall. This tree was massive, and I contacted the property owner next door to see about being able to work on his side of the fence to get this tree taken care of. And the man spent about 10 minutes cussing me out and telling me to go to hell and stuff like that, and hung up on me. About a week and a half to 2 weeks later, I got a call from an attorney in the evening, and he asked me if I'd contacted the man about cutting the tree. I explained that I had. I said that he had cussed me out really, really bad and this kind of stuff. And I also asked the attorney why he was calling me, and he told me that the man had decided he was going to cut the tree himself and he had been killed that day. Trees are nothing to sneeze at, and this is an example of what I'm talking about. Dysfunctional vet. We have ourselves an enormous tree. That's about 3 feet in diameter. Comes across, there's my gloves. We have this branch that comes up. Trying not to zoom in, but right here I want to zoom in for a second so you can look at this. If you look, this is all under these trees under tension. What's holding the tension is this dead branch right here. So if that branch goes, all that goes. Alright. This branch that I'm looking at right here, it is a full 12 inches in diameter going up. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to have to do, I call them double V cuts. What they amount to is double notches on the top. One, which will be this way, the other one that will be this way. So I'll cut a notch here, and then I'll cut a notch over the top. Then I'll start to crack this thing, and I'll get away from it, go eat lunch, and let gravity take over and bring this thing down. Meanwhile, we have this over here. This little branch, this one, that little branch, doesn't really appear to be doing anything but just resting on some branches. It's real questionable as to where it's going to go to if it were cut. This other one right here, there's a good possibility that it's resting on the ground. Good possibility that it's under compression, which means if you try to cut it, it's going to kick back. And if it kicks, it's going to move so fast you would never get away from it. Not possible. This is one of those where you can't do gravity cuts. Now if you look back inside here, this is just a nightmare. To safely cut this, you need to go in to this area here and cut all that material out and find out what this tree is doing on the ground and start working your way back over to the trunk, which is this area where I'm standing, where we've been discussing these branches that go out. Now there's another branch I want to show you. It's that one right in there, which it doesn't want. Yeah, there we go. Now we got to focus on it. Not really sure if that one is broken off. I can't get in there to check it. There's too much debris, and I don't feel like fighting some of this stuff. But you can see the tangle that this thing created. This oak probably had a good 40-foot canopy before it started to come down and crush. There's a lot of broken material right here. If I can zoom in on this, you can see some large branches that broke off as it came down, and then all these other pieces of the stuff, and then everything it's come into. It's quite a mess. If you are ever dealing with a tree like this, and you are not a professional who's got a lot of experience, don't mess with a tree like this. Get a professional to come out and remove it, or get a professional to come out and teach you how to remove it. I've had a couple of friends come over that don't know much about trees, and I've walked through the dangers. Let me back off here. You see these trees? These are under tension. You start screwing with something over here and it can throw all that debris on top of you. Trees kill people, and in this case, again, like I said, I'm going to cut this one right here. I'm going to cut this and let gravity take over and work its way down, and I may eventually get in and start cleaning some of this stuff up for firewood for next year, but there's no rush on this. This is an amazingly dangerous tree. It came down maybe 2-3 months ago. No, let's see, this is January. Came down sometime in December, because I was here when it came down, and I looked at this thing, and at the time there was still a little bit of green stuff on here, although we had had some hard freezes, and it was very difficult to discern. As I look at it now, and the camera does not do justice to the debris, this thing is more scary than when it was covered with branches. It's pretty scary then. Let's talk about something real quick. These trees that you see that are curved, those are sweet gums. Sweet gums, even though they're bent over like that, as soon as the weight is off of them, even if it's months, these things will come straight back up, and they do it quickly, which is why I'm really concerned about trying to cut this thing and having something thrown on me. That's why I'll do my gravity cut, and I'll go eat lunch, and when I come back, if it's down, I'll take a look at it. If it's not down, I won't walk anywhere close to it, and I'll just let nature take its course. If you look right here, you can see there's a fence line. The tree came down. It belongs to the neighbor. He has a guy that works for him, and the guy's terribly afraid of fallen trees, especially ones as dangerous as this. So I went over and told him that I wanted the guy to come over and get this thing picked up and off the property, just because I wanted to screw with the guy. He took it in all good humor, and when his hired guy came over, he looked at it, he's like, "Oh no, I can't touch this." And I'm thinking, yeah, you're not qualified. Anyway, with that said, I wish that I could convey the massive damage this tree did when it came down. This is incredible. There's enough firewood here to last maybe 10 years at the rate that I use it. Mostly for cooking, actually, and then some heating, but I've got a really efficient home, so I don't need much heat. With that said, Dysfunctional Vet out.